Welcome to the Predictable Revenue Podcast, where frontline sales leaders teach you how to build and scale an outbound sales team. Welcome to the podcast for creating predictable revenue. This is episode number 5, and I'll be joined momentarily by my co-host, Aaron Ross, and a fellow Canadian to talk about the role of video in outbound sales. Our guest today is Terrance Kwok. He's the Sales Development Manager at Vidyard, a Toronto area company looking to change the way that we use video when we prospect. We examine the development of their funnel, the ups and downs of selling with video, and humanizing the sales process and ditching email templates entirely. Some highlights include Vidyard's evolution from an inbound to outbound focused shop, putting a face to the touch points, and the challenge of using video.
And we're back. We're joined with startup founder, sales development manager, and fellow Canadian, Terrance Kwok. How are you doing today, Terrance?
I am doing fantastic. How are you guys?
We're doing great, man.
Ooh, fantastic. That's a high bar there to meet. I'm feeling a little inadequate now.
I'm feeling happy the snow melted, but enough about me. Terrance, you're the sales development manager at Vidyard. We'll dive a little bit into what you guys do a little bit later, because I think that's going to be a really fun theme to explore in this call. But
Very, yes.
Foreshadowing. better not disappoint. No. So I'd love to jump right in. What is the one thing that you do that you feel has made the biggest contribution to your success leading an outbound team?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. So a little bit of background on myself. I spent my entire undergrad studying accounting and financial management at the school called the University of Waterloo. And naturally, as an accounting and finance student, I spent time doing co-ops and audit at one of the big firms. So I actually graduated and full-time, was doing audit for a couple of years before I made the transition to sales development. And I think what I've carried around with me since then is that extreme attention to detail and making sure that I'm very analytical with how I approach this role and how I approach this profession of sales. So looking at the numbers, understanding where are we at on a day-to-day basis, both from an input and output standpoint, and coaching my team using those numbers and making sure that we spend time every week looking at activity waterfalls and how the current activity levels that they're doing today, what is that going to mean in terms of their output next week or in 2 weeks' time or in 3 weeks' time.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Sort of, along those lines, can you walk us through your sort of process and the waterfalls that you're chasing and the metrics and numbers that you're looking for?
Yeah, so we like to boil down activity, I guess, in a couple different ways. You don't want to spend all your time just staring down and making sure your reps are making 100 calls a day or 100 emails a day or whatever that might be. But we want to understand how many leads are you bringing in as an outbound rep on a daily basis. We set a target here at Vidyard for anywhere between 8 to 10 new leads from 2 accounts on a daily basis. And we want to make sure that those leads or those potential customers are actioned the day that they're brought in. So action being send them an email, send them a video, or make that first phone call. From there, we're measuring, how many emails are we sending out on a daily basis? At which stage are those emails at? So are they a first touch or are they a fifth touch, whatever that might be? And then understanding each rep's ability to convert, prospective customers into meetings with account executives based on, the activity level they performed historically. So obviously this is challenging for newer reps when you don't have as much data. But we look at existing reps and those existing reps' performance in the past, and that's how we set benchmarks for new reps as we onboard them. For existing reps, we're always trying to push them to be more efficient. So every month I sit down with my team and we look at what is our activity to meetings flipped, score. Activity being video, email, phone, in-mail, whatever that might be. And what we're trying to coach towards is make that number decrease on a month-to-month basis as they ramp up and then taper off at around, 70 touches to qualified meeting book on a monthly basis. That's been super helpful. It's been an easy way to kind of guide coaching sessions and puts the numbers into those conversations.
Awesome. Just so I understand.
So you said at the very beginning, you said 8 to 10 leads at 2 accounts a day. Is that
yes.
Contacts are putting in? How do you define a lead? Because there's a lot of.
Yeah, we're looking at it. Maybe not a lead. We'll use the word incorrectly. 4 to 5 different contacts per account.
Yeah.
So we will grab 2 accounts on a daily basis, and we will find 4 to 5 people that fit the personas that we sell into. We'll typically start one pass at an account over 3 weeks, specifically in marketing. And then after we've had success or haven't had success with that account from a marketing perspective, we'll then move to the sales persona, do 3 to 4 weeks on the sales persona, and then 3 to 4 weeks on the support persona.
Cool. And how many, you said qualified meetings is one of your main metrics, goals?
Yeah, qualified meetings, basically anything accepted by an account executive into pipeline.
Okay. And that's what, so you measure the number of touches per qualified meeting. It's not like 70 was the goal per qualified meeting.
That's what we're finding. Like, we're finding that most new reps, at least on our team and what we're doing, we're at 80 to 90 total touches to get the one qualified meeting. We're trying to drive towards that 70 number now to become more efficient and to be more effective with our prospecting.
Okay. Last question, then Colin, take it back over. Is how many qualified meetings a month are they aiming for?
Per rep right now, we're aiming for 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we took some time and try to understand, what is pipeline, what should be accepted by account executives. We have a goal of like a 20% close rate. So from that goal, we back into about 5 per rep, and we have about 25 reps today. Yeah.
Gotcha. That's 5. Now, how do you guys define that? Is that 5 meetings, 5 sales accepted meetings, sales qualified?
So,
Yeah, 5 sales accepted meetings. So to get to that 5, they're typically booking about 10 to 12 meetings each. And then about half of those will be moved into what we call pipeline. So I guess the account executive has had, probably 1 to 2 to 3 calls with that person, has, determined the need, has determined that, they are willing to put time and effort into evaluation. We have the right people as part of the call. We have at least budget they're not running for the hills when we give them the cost of our product. And that's, as long as those criteria are met, we're ready to go. And that's what our team is aiming towards. So we made that big change around how we're going to define qualified meetings or sales accepted meetings maybe like 4 or 5 months ago. Before that, what we were finding was our account executives would take anything into pipeline, quote unquote pipeline, if they were able to get a next step out of the person. So if they agreed to, receiving an email afterwards, they've agreed to another meeting, agreed to a demo, boom, it's pipeline. And, our reps were doing anywhere between like 20 to 25 quote unquote qualified meetings on a monthly basis. What made that challenging was now our AE team is, trying to juggle all these open opportunities, and they don't really have a good idea of what's got legs to move. So we had a new VP sale come in. They completely gutted that whole process and it made the threshold significantly higher. What's great about that is now our A's are hyper focused on ops that have opportunity and propensity to close. And as an individual rep, we're incentivized to make sure we're qualifying contacts as best as we can before passing over to an account executive.
And actually, I think something you said there was really key was that defining the qualification criteria in such that you're aiming for about a 20% close rate. Mm-hmm. So I've seen that. That's what we actually had at Salesforce, and we recommend is in terms of how loose or tight. Well, ultimately, you should probably end up at about a 20% close rate in that range if you are balancing the number of opportunities you're giving to the salespeople with quality too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been an interesting journey to get to that point, because we were significantly lower about 6 months ago. We still have some kinks to work out, like anything that's marketing sourced in terms of a lead. We're finding close at a higher rate, like around 30%, whereas our like BDR, outbound, cold source, contact, we're closing close, like slightly below 20. So it's about balancing out right now. And ideally, that should be like pipeline is pipeline. If they hit the criteria, they should be moving into pipeline at the same rate, whether it's sales source or marketing source. I guess that's the way we look at it. So we're still working through what's going on the outbound side.
Almost.
Yeah.
Usually, again, the inbound leads tend to be a little further along in understanding and thinking.
Right.
Outbound a little less, but sorry, on my bully pulpit here for a second, there's that lie thrown around that 80% of your company's research is done before they contact you.
Right.
Well, Yeah, if they're doing inbound, but in outbound, the definition is you're trying to catch them before they've done that so you can get in. So
Yeah.
it's like apples and oranges. They do meet, but not quite at that sales. I don't think just a step or two further past that, qualified meeting stage. So, all right, I'll get off my soapbox here now.
No, I can get it. Yep.
So I had an interesting follow-on just along that thread there. So do you guys vary your process, whether they're, based on whether they're inbound or they're outbound?
Yeah, our process is actually significantly different depending on if it's coming from marketing or it's coming from, or if it's completely cold source from sales. We have specialized teams. So actually the team I manage our entire inbound team and then part of our outbound team, which proves with challenges and focus and stuff like that. But our inbound team, typically with our follow-up, we're looking at 10 business days trying to attempt to reach a marketing generated lead. We will start with video, and we will use video significantly throughout that process because that's something that they've expressed interest in. With those inbound leads, however, if we aren't able to reach them in 10 days, what we'll do is we'll actually mark that lead within Salesforce as a potential account for an outbound rep to then build out wider, 4 to 5 contacts in breadth. So that there's a bit of a handoff process between our inbound and outbound team. We have our inbound team right now at a point where they can spend all their day just dealing with the MQLs that are coming in for marketing and be like a fully efficient and fully, busy enough.
Yeah.
So after they aren't able to contact these accounts, we don't want to waste them. So we pass them over to the outbound team. Our outbound team is a lot more, we're still pretty aggressive, I guess, early on when we bring a contact into our cadence. We'll be fairly aggressive over the first 10 business days, but then we'll taper off for anywhere between 45 to 60 days after that. So we will tail them off on like a 1 touch per week after the first 10 business days, just to make sure we're nurturing them and that we don't waste the amount of effort that went in just to get them into to find this contact, to research this contact, and hopefully, not everyone's ready to buy every single time you reach out to them, right? So maybe in a couple months, our idea is that they will be ready or be more interested in the conversation.
Cool. Hey, just give us a snapshot around the team setup there, because it's interesting you said you managed inbound SDR and some of the outbound, but how many inbound SDRs do you have and outbound total, and who do you manage, and just like the general, like the setup of who's doing what? Yeah,
for sure. Vidyard, when I joined at least a couple of years ago, was our demand generation engine was humming along very nicely. So everybody we hired was basically an inbound rep. We didn't dive into outbound until about a year and a half ago. So at that time, we had about 10 inbound reps going, not fully efficient, the resources weren't properly allocated, but we had people going at it. Now we're at 5 inbound reps and we have 20 outbound reps on our team. So I manage 5 inbound reps and 3 or 4 outbound reps, and then the other outbound reps are under different leadership pods. So we're heavily skewed towards outbound right now. We're looking to grow our outbound team, not as aggressively over the next 6 months because we're just trying to become more efficient as an organization. But I imagine by June or July next year, we should be at about 30 outbound reps in total. I guess within our outbound, if you want a little more detail, within our outbound team, we segment the team out into 3 segments. We have large enterprise, so anything north of $1 billion in revenue. And then we classify mid-market as 50 million to $1 billion in revenue. And then we have small, medium enterprise as anything under 50 million. The majority of our reps are in the mid-market space. We have 3 reps in large enterprise and then a couple reps doing the small, medium enterprise.
Okay. Actually, how small do you go? Is there like a minimum employee size?
Yeah, we're still exploring a lot of that because our new products, from a sales perspective, the pricing is a lot easier to get started on. So right now, from an employee size, like our magic number is probably 50 employees, or a company that's like less than 50 but has maybe recently done a funding round and is ready to like start investing in tools. You don't want to cut it off. We give guidance around that, but we do leave it up to our reps to make those judgment calls.
Yeah. It's probably a good point here to tell us a bit more about Vidyard and why people are interested, why are they taking meetings? So as you mentioned, support, Mark, you threw out some different functions. That support I was surprised with, I guess not so too surprised. And just give us a little bit about Vidyard and give me the pitch.
Yeah. We worked a lot of time on this pitch and make sure we're simplified. It's funny because like a couple of months ago, we were going way above our customers' heads. We were trying to brand ourselves video intelligence platform, whatever that might be. And we really wanted to simplify it and make sure that we were using words that people understood and that had meaning. So in its simplest form, we're a video platform for business. We help you leverage your video content across your business, so that marketers, you can generate leads, qualify leads. Support teams can close tickets faster by creating content and sending it off to to the people requesting support, to their customers. And from a sales perspective, we help you book more meetings really by using video content in your cadence to reach out to prospective customers, whether it's, first touches, whether it's second touches.
No, man, get out.
I put a note on the door over there, hoping that no one will come in. So sending either webcam videos or screen captures to our customers, explaining why we're reaching out to them, like leaving a video voicemail. I think you used that term earlier when we were chatting.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So as I said, this is something I'm actually, very interested in learning more about what has worked and what hasn't worked. So you guys, use your own dog food, I'm assuming. Okay. And then just one last question here. Let's do that mid-market, like average deal size per year. What do you?
Yeah, from a mid-market perspective.
Just trying to sort of be middle of your customer pack. Do you guys charge $100 a year, $1,000, $10,000, $100,000, just to sort of help the sense of the kind of complexity and size of the deal that you?
For sure. Our middle of the pack marketing sort of support use case, we're looking at around 20 to 25. Yeah. Obviously on the sales side, we're starting to go a bit more downstream, getting like smaller companies up and running with their reps. Right now for a single Vidyard for sales license, it's $50. So we're starting to explore that per seat sort of revenue model to complement what we've been doing marketing prior to this, which was selling a platform.
Cool.
Yeah.
Interesting. And those segments there, so it's marketing on marketing is generally the larger deals, and then sales, you're actually going down market and selling to smaller teams.
Yeah, historically, marketing's been larger deals. We're looking at ways to get in with the smaller companies. We do have favorable pricing packages like early on. Like we just launched our HubSpot integration last month, which is like going directly against some of our competitors, and we're starting that at $500 a month. So there's easy ways to get in on marketing. It's
cool.
still being explored by our team, and we're still trying to figure out how to make that work.
That's awesome. And you mentioned so two threads I want to kind of pull on here. You mentioned earlier that you're actually using that everybody that inbounds to you actually gets a video.
Yeah.
And then you're also using video in your outbound. So can you maybe let's start with the inbound one. So if I go onto your website right now and I fill out my name, you're going to send me a video?
Yeah, we'll send you a video just saying, I'll give you the typical spiel our team is doing. Yeah. It's like, hey, this is Terrance from Vidyard. I'm your personal Vidyard concierge. Thank you so much for requesting a demo from our team. I want to reach out to you to have a quick conversation to understand why you are interested in a Vidyard demo. Let me know by responding to this email. All the best. Like we'll typically personalize it. What we'll do is we'll write so if I were emailing you, Colin, I'd write your name on a whiteboard, and I would have that whiteboard as the thumbnail. So you'll see Colin, this video is for you specifically, which then helps us improve our click-through rates on that video content.
Cool. What sort of response rates are you getting to those videos?
Yeah, so for our inbound, I guess like MQL, marketing generated, we're doing like about 25% open to reply rate. But obviously we're still working heavily on trying to jack up our open rates because that's always been a challenge for us.
Mm-hmm. Can you compare that to when there's video versus not video?
Yeah, so from like a direct comparison, like first touch inbound lead, we were probably around 16 to 17% on those emails prior open to reply rate, and now we've got up to about 25%. I know a lot of times when we're speaking with our customers, they're very, very concerned about like, is this going to improve my reply rates, right? From our experience, yes, it's been helpful, but I think the thing I like personally about video is that it kind of humanizes that touch. And when you're an SDR and you're sending out emails day in and day out, and your customer is receiving, automated content from all your competitors, right? I like putting that human aspect into the conversation, showing like, hey, I'm a person. I'm somebody that's taking the time to make this video for you. Yes, it's only 20 to 30 seconds in length, but I have some great ideas that I want to share, and I feel so compelled to reach out to you that I've taken the time to create some video.
And are they usually using their like webcam, computer webcams or phones or?
Yeah, directly from the computer webcam.
Yeah, that's cool.
You guys seem skeptical.
No, I'm just thinking. Yeah, because like everything else, there's pros and cons. So it takes a little more time, and I think sort of like social media. You can't just process it in a way, like, because the way people have their own style is a lot more apparent than just on email or more, one or two dimensional things.
Yeah.
So you can have the same process across a team, and different people, could have very different results based on their energy, look, tone, style. So it's just interesting.
Yeah, I think you're touching on a challenge that we definitely have with video, and or our customers admittedly have with video at times, right? We've had people talk to us and they're like, I don't want to put my reps on camera. I don't feel confident that
maybe they shouldn't for some of those people.
Right. And we had to do that. So like part of our onboarding is training around video and how to position your camera high enough. You guys actually sent me a link prior to this podcast on how to position our camera and how to make sure that the lighting's okay. I'm not doing too good of a job because I'm in our studio here, but it's challenging because not everyone has that personality for video. Play to the strengths. We try to do, and we try to hire around it because it's important to us as a business. But I can imagine for companies that haven't traditionally done it, or if you're in more of a professional environment, more corporate, it's not going to be something that you're going to enable your team to do. And maybe that just doesn't work for them. Yeah.
Got to make sure you.
I imagine it probably worked really well for Victoria's Secret, though.
I guess so.
You think they're getting many inbound leads?
No, in terms of these, if they're prospecting.
Yeah, they're doing outbound.
I think you guys just thought of your the new predictable revenue strategy using video and Victoria's Secret models to
the new booth
pipeline. Yeah.
On the men's side, I don't know what the equivalent. I guess Chippendales would be the other, equivalent. So between your team of Chippendales and Victoria's Secret, here's your new video team.
Oh, I've definitely paid to send some Chippendales videos to my buddies.
Yeah, there you go. A new prank app.
Happy birthday, Aaron. This one came with glitter. So, sort of pulling on that thread, not that thread, but a similar one. Can you give me an example of what you guys are doing for video with Outbound?
Yeah, so Outbound, we take it's a similar approach. We usually do a first touch with a webcam video with the whiteboard with their name on it. Then we kind of cool off on video for a bit because we don't want to put our eggs in all one basket, right? With an outbound strategy, the rep that just calls, they're not going to be as successful as the rep that calls and emails, right? The rep that just emails is not going to be as successful as the rep that does all call, email, and emails. Mm-hmm. So we don't want to hammer video too hard, especially if it's not resonating with our customer. So what they'll do is they'll start off first touch webcam video, 30 seconds, just like leaving a voicemail. And then they'll cool off for a couple of touches. Around our third to fourth email, we'll actually send another video out, but this one will be a bit different than the first one. It'll be a screen capture starting on the prospect's LinkedIn profile. And then we'll walk them through why we're reaching out to them. All this research you're doing anyways when you're going outbound, right? You're trying to understand your buyer, understand what they care about and their priorities. So we'll spell that out for them by kind of catching their attention. Like, whoa, someone's on my LinkedIn profile. What are they doing? Like, I'm going to hit play here. And then we hop over to their website and then, find the video content that we're looking for, identify why it needs to be hosted on Vidyard. And, by integrating that into your marketing automation platform, you're going to generate more leads. You're going to qualify more leads, whatever that might be. That's been super helpful. What other ways reps will do it is if their LinkedIn doesn't have too much going on, but they find an article they've written, they'll actually specifically highlight a paragraph in the article using their cursor on the video and explain to them based on what you said here, this is why I'm reaching out and this is the value I'm going to bring you. We've been finding that pretty helpful. Obviously it's 4 to 5 touches in or 3 to 4 touches in. So at that point they might be just sending us to junk trash bin. So
maybe not. I mean, that's, anytime I think people are, or maybe it's just me, I'm very vain. I'm like, if I see my LinkedIn on a video, I'm like, I'm definitely going to click on that video.
Yeah, I'll have to put you guys into our outbound sequences and run you through the paces.
Yeah, actually, if you want to record a video of like making fun of our website and showing us how we could do it better on Vidyard, I'll post that in the show notes so people can check it out and see how you guys are using video. I think that'd be really interesting.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be cool. The cool thing with video, not to like super pitch it, but we have a free tool to do all this. So you don't even need to pay for Vidyard. So if anybody wants to get started on it, they can just go to viewit.com and download it for free. I hope that's not too pitchy. I'm not asking for any money. So
you have to send Terrance.
It's only pitchy when you say, I hope it's not too pitchy.
Yeah, you're right.
Actually, we should start having future guests put us in the outbound sequence before they show up.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That'd be
it's the right context, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we've talked a little bit about video, but I'm assuming you guys do more than just send your customers or your prospects videos. What else do you guys do? I'm sure it's phone and it's email and social, but like, what's really working for you guys?
Yeah, we don't use templates anymore at all. Pretty much, we try to be as hyper personalized as possible on the email front. I think we've lost a bit of volume with making that decision, but we are getting less angry emails back from prospective customers. Like, no matter how great that template is, it's still a template, and no matter how many mail merges you throw into it, it's still obvious that it's wooden and that it came from Yes or SalesLoft or wherever that might be. We do use SalesLoft, but it's the manage our cadence, and a lot of that is about doing upfront research. So as a rep, you might bring a contact in from LinkedIn. You take a quick scan through. You see different points that you can touch on. You write up that email. You send it off. And then 3 days later, you're supposed to write that next email. You pull up their LinkedIn again, you search through, you find what you want to talk about, and you send it off. So what we do actually is when we bring in contacts, we have like a component to our process called what we call account profiling or target profiling. And they actually have to write 3 points down on that lead record before they start actioning that contact, so that every single time they go back, they don't need to pull up their LinkedIn profile, pull up their company website, and all that information's at their fingertips, which has helped us kind of speed along that personalized, that hyper-personalization process. That's been super useful for us, and it's something that we started maybe 6 months ago that our reps actually liked. They didn't like it at first because it was an extra step. It's like, I don't want to have to document all this stuff on the contact record.
Oh man, I got to write stuff down.
I got to write stuff down, right? You know what I mean? I can remember everything. I got a photographic memory. But afterwards, and what we found was they started getting into it. They like how it's like forcing them to find information about these contacts that is relevant. It's challenging to make sure that they're not just spraying and praying. And for a new rep, it forces them to think through, what is my rationale, right? Like, why am I actually contacting this person today? And do I have a good enough reason? Because if you don't have a good enough reason, you shouldn't be sending that email. Yeah.
So it's at the contact level and account level, or just per contact, right?
It's on both. So the contact level is about the contact themselves. And then at the account level within Salesforce, we have a section about company research. So that would be 3 points as well.
Cool. What kind of research are you getting your team to do?
Yeah, from a contact, we're looking at what is their title. Have they, explicitly put, the good thing about marketers, a lot of marketers, they put like their priorities and their goals right on the LinkedIn profile. They like writing about themselves. So we'll find a couple of points from there. What are they responsible for? Is it lead generation? Is it running great events? Is it running email campaigns? Whatever that might be. Then we're looking for obviously anything that the contact has written. Hopefully, they've spent some time. They posted a blog. They posted, a recent LinkedIn post or shared some sort of article. Those are typically the areas that we're starting off on. From a company side, we want to understand, one, their technologies that they're using, marketing automation, which CRM are they using, which email platform are they using, but more importantly, like how many videos do they have? Do they have 100 videos, but none of them been uploaded in the last 4 years? Or do they have 25 videos and 5 of them been uploaded in the last 2 weeks? So they need to start documenting like their video usage notes, because obviously those are great potential buying signals for us, especially if they're uploading content recently. Because before, 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, we would just look, okay, 100 videos, okay, let's go. 20 videos, nope. And we weren't looking into much depth around what is that actual usage. And the last thing we'd probably be looking for from a company standpoint, if available, if they're publicly traded, it will be like listening to some of the earnings calls or reading the summaries and understanding what are the key points from the past couple quarters that the team over there is working on. Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
What do you guys?
Go ahead, Aaron.
I was going to say, just like your main 2 to 3 apps used and organize all this. Is it like Salesforce? There's the CRM. You mentioned SalesLoft. Obviously, Vidyard.
No, yeah. So excluding Vidyard, we're pretty. I would say we're fairly lean. We have Salesforce as our CRM, SalesLoft as our cadence management tool, and then from a lead standpoint, bringing in contacts, we use Lead IQ as well as Kite Desk. And the final tool we've really started using a lot is a company called Get Pattern. Basically, it's like Evernote, but it's tied directly to your CRM. So when you're about to do a call, you can log a note just like as a simple note-taking tool like Evernote, but it actually syncs directly to the opportunity, and you can change stages of the opportunity directly within the app. It's absolutely awesome.
Get Pattern.
Getpattern.com. Yeah, good people working on a really cool product.
Awesome. We don't have a ton of time left, and there was a couple other things we wanted to get to. But prospecting in Canada, being a Canadian working for a company in Toronto, or sorry, I apologize, for a company in Kitchener.
Yeah.
What's your policy on Canadians?
What's your policy on like prospecting other Canadians?
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, there are rules and regulations around sending emails out to people who haven't opted into receiving email contact information. We got to work our demand generation engine to make sure that people are subscribing. Obviously, the market in Canada is not massive. A lot of the tech companies that we'd be selling to for Toronto or Vancouver, we have contacts there with. So we do our best to make sure that we have like secondary connections and get to introductions. Just as a Canadian prospecting in general, we like to play up the Canadian side a little bit. Actually, one of our best, and people hate this email, but like sales leadership hates this email, but it actually performs really well. It's called Sorry to Circle Back. And I know there's a lot of like sales faux pas in there, but the sorry in the subject line, it's one of our high, sorry in the subject line.
How do you spell that?
Sorry. SORY.
Oh, is that Canadian would say sorry?
Sorry. Yeah, it's the Canadian accent. It's
like about and out. Sorry.
And going home to my igloo. Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
It's funny. Like sorry in the subject line. People are usually really apologetic when they receive that email. Like I'm sorry for not getting back to you. This is the reason why.
Yeah, I can see why that. I'd see why that would work.
But man, that I remember when we hired a new VP, he came in, he was like, Terrance, what is this? This is a terrible email. I'm like, it works. I'm telling you, like people respond to it. Like, you're like, you should never start a business relationship with apology. And I'm like,
yeah. Well, exactly. I found people have tons of opinions on email, but you never know till you try them.
Yeah. There's no silver bullet, right? Like just test and measure and then test again and measure again. Right. So
sorry. So do you guys, so let me just a quick question in Canada. Do you then really wait for, again, them to opt into something, or are you calling people first, or are you just focusing on the US primarily?
We're pretty much exclusively focused on the US. Like we're working in Toronto, we're working in Vancouver for certain companies, but I would say like 90% of our business right now, 60% of our business right now is focused on the US. We're pushing very heavily into Europe, which is proving to have a ton of different challenges as well, along prospecting and getting people's attention, especially like around the summer where they shut down for like 2 months and don't pick up the phone and don't respond to emails. But that's been an exciting ride to push into that market.
Yeah. Perfect. Just bringing this to close, I got 2 more questions left here. Can you tell me about something that you screwed up when you were building your first outbound team?
Yeah, we spent way too much time thinking about touch rules, who gets credit for what, who can work what accounts. should the time be around like 30 days or 60 days, or, how long do you have protection? What happens if an inbound lead comes in and that rep loses credit for the outbound account that they've, been prospecting into for the last like 3 months? I feel like all these rules, we had this, 3-page document. These are the rules of engagement for how BDRs can perform their job. It just bogged us down and made everything so unnecessarily complicated. And we realized that like probably 3 months ago, and basically said, forget all these rules. Let's just have the be cool rule. Like, don't be an a-hole. And, at the end of the day, we're working as a team. We win as a team. We lose as a team. We need pipeline, and find it however you can. So if you're a mid-market rep and you find a great small enterprise account to work, and you're already like halfway through your research and you realize, oh shoot, they're like 55 million revenue, not 49 million revenue. Forget it. Like, just work it and keep going, because we need to be fast, and time is not on our side in this case. Right. So, I would encourage anyone who's building out these teams, especially if they're branching off from an inbound team into an outbound team, there's going to be a lot of toe steps. Don't spend too much time. It all comes out in the wash, and don't sink a couple weeks into figuring out the perfect rules of engagement and setting up Salesforce in a way that allows you to track all that information. It's just not worth it.
And I'm having flashbacks of, almost every Salesforce integration or setup that I've been involved in. It's, that's fantastic advice. I've been there. It's painful.
Yeah, no, it's terrible, and we feel like a whole weight's been lifted off our shoulder after just giving up the touch rules.
Totally.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just to wrap it up, what's one more advanced tactic you'd recommend for the sales development leaders in the audience that have been doing this for a couple of years? What's sort of the one thing that's worked for you that you recommend them give a try?
Video, right? Video?
No, not video. I won't talk about video, although I'm going to hold myself back not to. Since moving to a manager role like 15 months ago, when you first move, you still remember what it's like to do the role and to be a BDR, to face that grind on a day in, day out basis. I think it's easy to let yourself become removed from the day to day and lose that empathy towards how challenging of a job this is. For the senior leaders out there and the people that have been doing this for years, like, don't forget about actually getting on the phones with your team, shadowing calls, running calls, picking up the phone and call blitzing down a list with one of your reps. Like, that kind of stuff keeps you close to the process, keeps you close to the challenges that they're facing on a day-to-day basis. And, allows you to understand, like, what are your customers saying? Because without that context and without understanding how the market is evolving and how these conversations are evolving, how are you supposed to coach your reps? And how are you supposed to remember, like, how it feels to get rejected on a daily basis? So that's the one thing I try to do as much of. I'm not sure if that's normal. Like, to be honest, we don't have many sales development managers in the area. So, that's a big recommendation.
Cool. How do you work that into your schedule? I know it must be crazy with, so many people on the team, but how do you make sure that's happening on a regular basis? Yeah,
I block an hour per rep every week to sit down. We do like 15 to 20 minutes on, what's going well, what challenges are you facing, how can I help you? And then 40 minutes on a coaching. So whether that's reviewing a call or actually just getting on the phone with them and making those calls, or having them, book calls within that hour so that we can talk to customers and talk to prospects that they're working with. I think you got to live and die by your calendar. If you don't have it in there, it's not going to get done.
Yep.
So that's like 10 hours of one-on-ones, which is a ton of fun. It keeps you really close to it.
Great. I think that's a great note to end on. Terrance, thank you so much for coming on the call today. Coming on the show today. I think you provided some awesome insight into video, into how to train and ramp the team. We're really appreciative of you helping us out here. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Terrance. And I'm looking forward to put us in your sequence. I want to get my little videos.
Get your own personal videos. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
All right. Thanks.
See ya.